All right. This is from at Keeping Up Gaming. There's always been behind the scenes drama at That Guy with the Glasses / Channel Awesome, but it's increased tenfold recently. Linkara just left and other producers are dropping like flies. Channel Awesome looks like it's on the verge of collapsing. Okay. Channel Awesome / That Guy with the Glasses. Big site. It got big 2009 about. It was known for producing and helping people like Angry Joe, Linkara, Cinema Snob, Nostalgia Chick, Lindsay Ellis, who's no longer on the site. Linkara just left. It's known primarily for Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic. Benzai was on the site, I think, at one point. It had Blistered Thumbs, which was an offshoot video game website which failed miserably. And I can talk about that a little bit. But there's always been our dear past friend Justin Juario was a member of the site for years as well, and others. There's been a lot of people that came up there. Spoonie was a big Get fan back in the day. He was big before then, but it helped him out at some point. Transparency, real quick. I applied to go on that site in 2009 after the Russian attack video. Did not hear back for like 4 or 5 months. Tried again and got an email from Rob Walker, which is Doug's brother, basically saying, not good enough, try again later. I replied back saying, this is the best you're going to get from me, so take it or leave it. And that was that. Wow. Was the most professional email back to me, because it was like, oh, I thought, basically the tone was, well, I thought we rejected you already, which I never heard back. And so I was kind of like put off by the response. It wasn't professional. But I didn't take it too personally, because in the years after, people were saying like Justin or Benzai or Spoon was like, they rejected you. They're like, why did they do that? And I was like, I don't know. So this isn't sour grapes, though. I'm not trying to kick dirt on the grave of Channel Awesome, but it hasn't been relevant for 5 years at this point.
Well, so all I can really say about this before I take off is I was interested to hear about this. Because I don't.
What was this? This was everyone behind the scenes talking about the unprofessionalism of Mike Machado running the website, which is not that's been known for years.
Sure.
There was an exodus a few years ago with Obscurus, Lupa, and Phalis, and other people that said, yeah, this is not run professionally. There's a bunch of clicks here. We're not told what's going on. We feel disconnected. We're told what to do when we shouldn't be.
When a site gets big enough that. And unorganized enough that it seems like from reading that there are clicks within a click.
Yeah, it's not good.
That seems to be like that's a recipe for disaster. So I don't follow a lot of this stuff. This to me says this to me says how bad the situation must have been, because this happened like 4 years ago there, right?
Yeah, it happened originally. Now it's happening again.
Because I thought it was already done.
No.
And then all of a sudden it comes back up again. And I'm reading through it.
Sometimes people feel empowered when a few people do it, but then maybe they think of the time. I hate to say there's selfishness involved. And by the way, I have nothing but love for certain people that have been on the site. Obviously, Linkara.
I was
very nice guy.
Meet him. He was very nice. Yeah.
Brad from Cinema Snob. I've spoken to him. Nice guy. Spoonie in the past I spoke to was a nice guy. I haven't spoken to him in years. I wish him the best. I don't know what's going on with him at this point, honestly. Other people, but there's always a feeling of cliquishness. I'll never forget a MagFest, real quick story, a MagFest where Justin's trying to introduce me to the group is there hanging out as a clique, which is what they did. If you're on Channel Awesome, you were a clique, which I can't stand. That's how it was. Let's put it this way.
That was the last thing I was going to say. I've never seen or met really any of them at any other convention.
There used to be big. They used to all go to MagFest, for example.
Okay.
So I probably would have dropped off the site after I joined, because I don't get involved with clique shit or drama or that high school shit. But anyway, when he tried to introduce me to people from Channel Awesome, and Justin was older than all of us. Justin, when he passed away, was like 40.
Right.
So he was like 10 years, at least 10 to 15 years older than most of the people on Channel Awesome. He was like the paternal figure. So he's beyond this bullshit. He tried to introduce me to two people from Channel Awesome. I won't say who. They couldn't pretend to care to say hi to someone that wasn't on their website. That even their friend Justin was introducing them to. They didn't. They basically were like, yeah, and like that was it. I was like, oh, well, I feel like I can't even stand here. Then this is how this is. This is what this type of people. So
I've met people like that.
But picture that though. That is the foundation of a quote unquote professional website. And then when behind the scenes, the people don't know how to run good business, know how to communicate with people. The story with Obscura Saluba being tossed off the site was like, there was like a group meeting. She didn't respond. She was away from her computer for 15 minutes, and that was it. She was tossed off. Well, you're gone from the site. Obviously, you can't pay attention. That's real fucking professional to do stuff like that and run a website.
Jesus.
Allegedly. So the point is now everyone's leaving, and everyone's like, oh, this is an awful place. So my question is, I'm not going to get into the people that are either still there, I'm not going to judge them, or why they didn't leave earlier. I think Linkara put out a nice message saying I didn't think it was this bad, or I think he said something like I thought I could help improve it and I was wrong. That's fine. I'm going to take his word for it. But this really tarnishes Doug's reputation a lot. There's no way he didn't know this shit was going on.
Sure.
He's not one running it all behind the scenes, but there's no way he didn't know about this shit. And there are stories about him mismanaging all those team-up movies that they filmed, didn't know what they were doing.
Reading about that.
Deleting
like
footage,
nightmare.
keeping people in attics for the whole day when they didn't have to shoot. I'm like, if I was around there, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Can I go outside?
I was going to say, I was reading that, and I want to know, who the fuck agreed to that?
It sounds like The Fucking Room. How this is being made. That's what it sounds like.
But I mean, at what point do you just go, this is fucking ridiculous, I'm getting up and walking away?
And people were afraid to, because it was like I don't want to say a word used like the C word, like a cult, but it sounds like you were afraid of losing your position on this website. There was like an upper tier and a lower tier. And the problem, this all started to get bad when Doug retired and killed off the Nostalgia Critic character. From reports, he didn't tell the rest of the people on the website he was doing that.
I saw
and
that.
That's where a ton of traffic came on that filtered down to the lower, lesser known. It's
probably what would have
creators.
made being part of it a bit tantalizing would have been getting that.
You get the rub.
Right.
It's like being a lower card wrestler or mid card wrestler. And then your biggest star says, yeah, I'm leaving right now, guys. You're like, oh, okay, no one's going to watch our stuff anymore.
Right.
Or partially. And then there was demands not to have Patreons. You couldn't put a Patreon in the links to your video and all this. It's like, who the fuck are you to tell me to do this? Am I under contract on here that I can't do this stuff?
This is gross. It's gross.
But you got to go.
That's gross. But I got to go.
So to finish up with Ian Pax, it's just, to me, it's sad, but it's also, we're in a different time where these team-up websites don't really matter as much anymore and haven't for years. And that includes even a site I used to help run, Retroware, where there was a reason for them to exist at one point before YouTube became better established with MCNs and partnering people. Now there's a much less of a reason to put yourself on these team-up websites and to go forward, because they can't provide you with that much like they used to. You know,
it's a fun little family sort of deal, but
yeah, it's always fun to be a part of a group.
Right.
But I think you're better off just reaching out and not getting into these click situations and just talk to people that you like and network, I guess, quote unquote, normally, even though it could be naive. It's not always the easiest way to do it. So yeah, I wish everyone well. There's tons of threads and tweets about this, about all the weird stuff that happens behind the scenes as Ian packs up and goes away.